Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force.
We're reclaiming the rainbow!
Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force, the upper middle class superhero team that protects your innocence any way they can. They are Tallulah, Sebastian Caden, Zoe, Quota, and Dirk.
We don't tolerate different.
We're heterosexual overdance!
Yeah! Fighting evil in multicolored skin, tight car off suspended.
Pow!
I'm happy to wait.
I don't even need to masturbate!
I dare off on the face of justice!
Sex is bad.
And violence is good!
Gonna save the neighborhood from sex.
Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force.
Rent district, here he goes! Crossing himself! Oh! He's done.
Gang, once again, the United States champion of word wrestling entertainment is back in the building for another episode of the Pocket Locker Podcast. I am your host with the most, all the way from the funky East Coast. And as always, folks, I am in airplane mode. Gang, welcome back. We've got another great show lined up for you. Please greet your neighbors, kick back, get comfortable, grab something to drink, grab something to smoke on. It is time to get into the musical portion of the proceedings and catch a motherfucking vibe. So good to see everybody here. Let's give out some pocket change.
Sunday morning rain is falling. Still some garbage share some skin. Clouds are shining us in moments unforgettable. Twist and fit the mold that I am in. But they just get so crazy, living life gets hard to do. I would gladly hit the road, give up and go if I know that someday it will lead me back to you.
All right, let's see who's going to be number 3. Go ahead, drop that high in the chat. Carrie-Ann's enjoying it.
Fingers trace your every outline. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I paint your picture with my hand. On and on, and back and forth we sway like branches in the storm. Shades of weather, still together when it ends. That may be your lightning. Darkness, she is all. On the keys, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, this is killer. Uh-oh, they threw me for a loop. Cheers to that, gang. Whatever you got, tip it on back.
And things just get so crazy, living life gets up.
That's kind of a nice breakdown.
Sunday morning,
I didn't know what they were doing there.
falling, and I'm coming up to you, thinking someday it will lead me back to you. Follow me to bring myself back home to you. Yeah, you may not know that maybe all I need. Time machine is all I see. Come and rest your bones with me. Driving slow it's Sunday morning. Driving slow, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He got that John Mayer in there. That's crazy.
I've been driving, driving with my hands it's all along. Oh, now I've been driving with my hands. I've been driving with my hands. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no, no. 감사합니다.
Oh man, that was awesome. All right, gang. As always, we got one more for you. It's another new one, but it's going to take you back. I got a feeling y'all know this one pretty good.
You are my fire, the one desire. Believe when I say I want it that way. But we are two worlds apart. I can't reach to your heart when I say I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
They
Am
getting it too.
your fire, your one desire. It's too late. I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. And tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it
good, so good. Scary Pockets is always coming through. Oh man, that was awesome. All right, gang. Let us take off on today's program. I'm actually just the two things that we have up to today I'm really excited about. One is Seth Andrews, aka the Thinking Atheist, talking about those damned atheist Democrats. And then we're going to do the second video in our series reviewing the alt-right Playbook, which is over on Innuendo Studios. I mean, I'm really excited. Actually, you guys know I love that alt-right Playbook, so that's gonna be the main event. But right now, let's get into this Seth Andrews thing. This is like this video definitely grabbed my attention because I'm gonna just put my cards right on the table, gang. I do not think that the Democrats are atheists, but the title of the video is "Those Damn Atheist Democrats." So we'll see where we go. All right, we are here. Let's get ready for the transform. Then you blow upsuate, all that good stuff.
You know, it's interesting, the pushback that I get from some atheists.
Yeah, there's like a hum buzz thing happening in the audio of the video. It just is what it is.
About the fact that I identify often and publicly as a liberal Democrat. They're frustrated. Why do so many atheist activists seem to automatically link atheism to liberalism or whatever? Many of these people simply protest that I have traded one religion for another. You know, Seth used to be a conservative Christian. Now he has traded that in for the religion of the Democratic Party under his dear leader and shepherd, Joe Biden. All right, fine. Let me address the accusation, and let me talk a little bit about why I believe what I believe and why I align where I do. First, I have to say this. Atheism is not automatically anything except for a disbelief in gods. It doesn't guarantee a philosophy or political platform or worldview or even that somebody is rational. You know, the aliens told me there is no God. That's an atheist position, but it is not a reasonable and rational position. Secondly, come on. The whole "you're just religious" about this, that is designed as a conversation stopper. Just keeps people from having a thoughtful conversation, peeling back the layers to discover the how and why. Now,
also pause the tape. It's really irritating when this thing is said to you because it's usually coming from a conservative person who, let's just face it, more times than not identifies as religious, and now they're again, notice how even the religious are happy to use religiosity as an insult or a slight, as long as it's not talking about them and their religion. And then also they tend to vote conservative, and this is what, and again, these are the people who literally themselves refuse to not vote Republican or whatever their party is under any fucking circumstances. So it's typically beyond just the absurdity of it on its face. It's also typically an example of a projection and, of course, the pot calling the kettle black.
can some people be very dogmatic about the things they hold dear, about the opinions they have? Absolutely. But these blanket accusations toward thoughtful people, these aren't genuine observations about opinions and values and behaviors. This is somebody just taking their hand and brushing aside somebody that they disagree with. You're just religious. Next up, and this is a big one, I am not a liberal Democrat because I am an atheist, but my disbelief in gods and the supernatural does lead me into a point-by-point examination of what I do believe in in the real world. If there's no divine intervention, that means the only intervention is going to have to be done by human beings if we want to live in a better world. And so I have to go through these things in my own mind, point by point, about the things important to me. And which of the two major power player political parties most aligns with my values? Reproductive rights, bodily autonomy for women. The Republicans? What are you kidding? This party has been waging a war on women. It is the Democratic Party fighting to protect reproductive rights.
Yeah, now pause the tape. Now, this does not mean that we are satisfied or content with the Democratic Party. It does not mean that they have done enough or successfully defended this issue. But it does generally mean that that is the side that is pursuing policies, however ineffectively those pursuits might be, that, you know, restore or protect bodily autonomy, whereas the other party is taking it away. And again, like, this is a very weird thing to be making a video about. I'm just gonna keep it real with you, because it's Saturday. I had a couple shots of whiskey, feeling a little chill, a little loose with the tongue, gang. I don't understand why we're doing this as grown ass people. I really don't. I really don't. You know what? I know why I'm here. I'm here because I love you guys and I like streaming and this shit's fun, and I don't really have another space with which to rant. And I also don't really have like a big ass like local community of friends. So this kind of space serves as a way for me to do both those things. But I got to be honest, gang, this is like talking about children. Like what? Like really? Like there's no reason to be a Republican in America. There's none. And if you are a Republican, I think you're a fucking asshole. Just like if you're a Christian, I think you're a fucking asshole. I think you have just overlooked the reality, the elephant in the room, and you have made a commitment for life to your privileged, entitled fucking status based on absolutely nothing, and you just are ignoring that your people are the problem. Period. End of story. Like what? There's. Are we gonna roll the tape? Because I'm sure he gonna go down the same list. All of us would go down, and if not, we'll add it in there. But he's pretty much right. Like off the top, like boom, like, you know, we're secular people. We have to deal with the real, and being in, you know, reality land with the other adults in the room, we look around like, well, we definitely got to vote, because if we don't vote, the fucking assholes and the bigots, they're definitely gonna get their people out there. And over here we got some Nazis, and over here we got some limp fucking noodle ass fucking softies who at least think, you know, everybody should like get a shot, at least in principle. You know what I mean? This is really not much of a choice for most of us. Like we are stuck between. It is a choice of the lesser of two evils. We have Democrats who just are fucking losers. They're fucking losers. They're soft. And to be honest, they're way too buddy with the other side. They're all in this fucking world that like none of the actual fucking regular fucking citizens, none of the 99 point whatever 999 the rest of us are, and so they're just woefully out of touch, and they suck. They suck. The Democrats are just trash. You know what I mean? It's like you can't help noticing the whole Washington Generals vibe of today's Democratic Party, right? Like that's who they are. Like the trolling clown show is the fucking Harlem Globetrotters doing their fucking bullshit fucking Woo, look at the woke. Woo, look at the black people. Woo, look at the trans. Woo, look at the look at the Black Lives Matter. They're just doing all their fucking tricks and shit. And the generals are like, we are the other team. We oppose them. Whoops, we missed them over here. Whoops, we missed them over there. Sorry, we can't do that. Oh, we got a shot. Oh, sorry, we missed all our shots. That's who they are. The Democrats are the fucking Washington Generals. But in this sick scenario, gang, where the fucking Harlem Globetrotters are the Harlem Nazi Trotters, you actually are stuck rooting for the fucking Washington Generals. You're rooting for the scrubs who you know are gonna lose just because the other team are fucking evil. They're like literally, gang, please go fuck yourself. This is not a conversation grown folks should be having anymore.
Speaking of rights, what about LGBT rights? Republicans are out there constantly demonizing and vilifying the entire non-hetero community. They're running entire political campaigns on what is arguably the biggest wedge issue non-threat of the 21st century. Which political party?
And again, Christians. It's y'all are responsible for this. You just are. And that's how it goes. We used to be Christians. Look, man, switch me. Look at me, Christians. Look me in the. We used to be Christians. Please stop acting like we don't know how fucking bigoted your bullshit is. We practiced that shit for fucking decades. Knock it off. You're bigots. You're fucking assholes. And you do. Everybody knows it. We see it. God damn it. These people are irritating. Keep going. Let's roll goddamn tape.
Party is standing up for the protection of our fellow non-hetero human beings. It is the Democratic Party. Gun regulation in the United States, don't even get me started. I own a couple of firearms. Sure, I've got a couple of target pistols. They are not part of my identity. I think it is ridiculous that civilians need AR-15s. I think the NRA, the National Rifle Association, is a corrupt Republican cult. And against this major MAGA freakout about the drag queens, against the empty calorie thoughts and prayers and moments of silence about mass shootings rampant in a country that has more guns than citizens, you better believe I am going to side with the political party that thinks that the same people who need regulations to drive a car should also have regulations to own lethal firearms. What about the death penalty? I really had to change gears on this one once I left my faith. While the Republican Party seems to have this reductive and barbaric Old Testament approach to society's worst, I'm concerned about the whole process, the whole capital punishment process. One crime in one state by one person, that might get the death sentence, but the same crime done in another context in another part of the country, that might get life and even possible parole. The entire system seems to be subjective, and it's often rigged. It is rigged to benefit the racially and financially privileged. There have been false convictions that have killed innocent people. And beyond all that, just practically, it is actually more expensive to kill killers than to lock them up for the rest of their lives. I think the whole thing is just inhuman. Which political party more aligns with my concerns about the death penalty? It is not the GOP. The Democrats are working to protect the state church line. The Republican Party has been instigating hostile takeovers of our schools and our courts and our Congress. Which party wants to protect the Establishment Clause? And why in the world would I ever align with Christian theocrats who seem to want to push us right into Gilead and on and on and on? Easing restrictions on recreational drugs, not imprisoning people for weed. Not vilifying immigrants, legal or otherwise, but seeing them as human beings, many of them trying to escape horrible situations. Believing it's ridiculous that a first world country thinks that health care is a privilege
Lena's
and not
in the
a
house. I'm glad you're
right.
home, Lena.
In the same culture where even those people who have a full coverage
What up,
health care
UC
policy
Love?
might still go bankrupt if they have a major medical event, accepting our responsibility to be
building.
good
Sorry, guys, sometimes
stewards
I'm
of
switching
planet
screens.
Earth, not vilifying Muslims and Jews and Hindus, Sikhs, Satanists because we think they are demonic, not falling for every irredeemably stupid, batshit crazy COVID virus and vaccine conspiracy, QAnon insanity, or some end time prophecy that somebody shared when they saw it first at freedom.eagle.devildemocrat.com.
All right, gang. I'm with my mans on this, and you know I'm a Seth Andrews fan, so it shouldn't. I don't think it should be any surprise to anybody. But to me, the elephant in the room is that the maybe most atheists that you can poll or whatever the fuck identify as Democrats in America, but most Democrats don't identify as atheists. Is it just me? Like, is that not abundantly clear? And the real shit to me is like, I don't think the Democratic Party we have can actually, bring about a reasonable separation of church and state or a reasonable secular world. Because again, even when they are opposing a clearly theocratically Christo-fascist right-wing fucking agenda, they can't go at the heart of that movement because most of them self-identify as Christians. And so they have to beat around the bush basically. They make excuses and they go, oh well, we oppose you over here and we oppose you over there and we oppose you over there, and they can't speak to the elephant in the room that these people are doing it because of their goddamn religion, and their religion isn't true. And the best way to suck the power out of this movement is to just be like, no, we're grown. Sorry, that's all a fairy tale. But that, to me, this is and I'm serious. This is the great betrayal of our government, of our mainstream media, our news people, all that shit. Is that no one is willing to just really start the bigger national and perhaps international conversation we need to have about it's time to stop all this religious bullshit. Honestly, I feel the same way about the conflict in the Middle East. You know, it's not something I know as much about as I wish, but we pretty much all know that there's a lot of fucking religious bullshit and ideation in there. And how many generations of human beings are supposed to play along? Like, how long are people supposed to suffer so that these fucking people can continue and keep up their fairy tales? It's disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me. We're not willing to speak out now? Gang, the timing matters. If Christianity wanted to be left alone, Christianity should have left us the fuck alone. If Christians just wanted to, oh, I'm just a Christian, I don't want to be persecuted, oh, I love everybody, and that's it, just then fucking go in your fucking church, and then go in your prayer closet, church, prayer closet, church, prayer closet, church, prayer closet, and do your goddamn thing. But no, these motherfuckers want to speak boldly and fight against the spirit of Satan in the world and down with the woke and all of this bullshit. Okay, well, it's time to pull their card, gang. I'm really sick of it. Really, really sick of it.
And on top of all that, we've got Trump worship. We've got DeSantis and his war on Disney. You got Mike Pence running for president. He ignores so many Republicans who wanted him hung at the Capitol. Marjorie Taylor Greene and her Jewish space laser. Lauren Boebert, the woman warning about wanton killing. And the long list of other Republican politicians who are waging war on the Constitution, on science, on reason, hell, basic human decency. I am so very tired of this lazy, hazy, false equivalence argument that people seem so eager to make. You know, they're all bad. All the parties are bad. They're all equally bad. How in the world could a humanist look at the two major political powers in this country and say that the choice is even close? Okay, fine. You want a third party. Wonderful. I will call you when we have the luxury of building a new world order Xanadu from absolute scratch because, you know, we have nothing more pressing to do. And until then, the house is on fire. Our house is on fire. This is the house we live in. And daydreaming about what we might be able to do one day, it only makes things worse. This is the hand we have been dealt.
Exactly, but these are the fucking magical people. And literally, like, it's the whole Christian mindset is such an identity that you know, makes you, what's the word I'm looking for, predisposed to inaction, because they just tell themselves everything's happening according to God's plan. So, you know, we could like reasonably tax the rich and shift our investment priorities and pretty much feed, educate, and employ everybody, and, you know, just some basic shit. Provide, you know, hospital care for everybody, and they're like, oh, or I could vote for these assholes over there who are making sure none of that happens, and I could just say, oh, it's all happening according to God's plan. It'd be great. Like, it's just ridiculous, gang. Like, I'm glad he made this video, but you're watching me be triggered in real time. I'm just so sick of it, gang. I'm just so tired. I'm just so sick of fucking playing along with these people. I'm really done. Like, really, like, it's just a fucking LARP. We give religious people religion way too much respect. And now we're all suffering for it. And yeah, I stick by my thinking here. You can convince me or show me a survey that says in this context most atheists vote Democrat, but the problem is most Democrats aren't atheists. Now, what's fucked up is they will take all of our shit and talk about how godless it is and how evil all of us are and all of this type of nonsense. But at the end of the day, even the Democratic nonsense, the Democratic Party is sitting on some Christo-fascist nonsense. Like, they're just not fucking helping.
The threats against our fellow human beings, those things are happening right now. The perfect is the enemy of the good. And you and I need to come together and work with what we have where we are. The bottom line is this.
You guys.
My atheism led me away from religion. It also opened the doors so that I might discover my values, so that I might discover humanism, the philosophy that humans must advocate for each other and work in the real world to solve real problems and protect our fellow men and women. Humanism. And I am absolutely convinced that right now, in this cultural moment especially, humanist values are liberal values. And one of the two major political parties most represents humanist liberal values. Now, I am thankful For progressive Republicans, people who do align with us, who are desperately trying to fix that sinking ship from the inside out. But in the big picture, in the grand scheme, we have two choices. We have two main choices, immediate choices we are faced with. Which political party is the humanistic party? I will give you one guess.
Again, it's so weird though too, because all right, that was I did like that video. I don't know how I feel about quote unquote liberal or progressive Republicans, because again, aren't they the problem? Aren't they the people who they literally see how bad things have gotten, and again, they have some sort of lifelong commitment that they've made. They've literally just, my Republican Party, tis of the sweet party of liberty, of thee I sing. Party where my father owned slaves, party where no one's. I don't. That's it. That's them. That's them. I actually fucked that up, gang. I sang a fucking song about patriotism and probably made you think of the type of allegiances you have with patriotism. I really should have sang a fucking worship song, because these motherfuckers worship. They literally. There comes a point where you need to leave the group. That's it. That's it. Let's stop with this bullshit. You're not gonna change these groups. Yeah, you can change people, but at that point, you should just identify as a Democrat undercover, right? Because if you tell me like you're like, oh, I'm a Republican, I'm just gonna try to stay here and make things better from the inside. Well, who do you vote for on election day, right? Do you vote for the fucking problem people and then tell us that's your way of making it better? So if anything, you should just be basically lying to that in-group and being like, yeah, I still identify as a Republican. So hey, let's talk about a couple of these issues. Do you think we have the right man? Right? But then when you go to the polls, you actually vote for the other team, which most of us would think makes you a Democrat, right? Like it's just kind of interesting, right? It's the same thing with the fucking moderates who say that they'd love to spend some time with Trump, and they'd really sit him down and set him straight. They won't. They wouldn't. They won't do that. Like it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit. All right, gang. Let's get into the main event of the evening. This, we're series. We're doing a series, and in the series, because you don't know what a series is when you do multiple videos covering a topic, and in this series, we're just reviewing another series. we're doing a series. Look, we're about a series. It's a series about a series, and then you're gonna watch us do a series about a series. It's just fucking meta, gang. It's some crazy shit they're gonna make a movie about one day. All right, so we're jumping into part 2 of the alt-right playbook. This one is called Control the Conversation. Let's go ahead and roll this fucked up ass tape.
Say, for the sake of argument, there's this guy who's running for president.
We're doing a series.
It's late in the campaign, and one of his chief liabilities as a candidate is that over a dozen women have reported that he sexually assaulted them, among them his ex-wife and a 13-year-old girl. His candidacy depends on convincing enough of the voting public that these
hang on real quick. Let me just agree. Appreciate y'all answering the question today. Also, let me just wrap that up by saying the Democratic Party's not on our side, gang. And they don't even respect like the separation church and state. I get very triggered. I'm a person, I'm gonna just let you know how wild it is. I get triggered when I hear the president say like, oh, and God bless America. When I hear that, like I get instantly pissed off. Like it's just a thing. If you were sensitive to the reality of people who don't believe that, you wouldn't do in that type of space. You would recognize that as a religious statement that you should not be making publicly, in your civic duties. I get mad about God being on the money. Think that's all sitting on some bullshit. I get pissed off when like a Ketanji Brown Jackson gets nominated to the Supreme Court, and then spends 10 minutes in her public speech up front talking about Jesus or whatever the fuck it was. Why do I get pissed about that? Because it just sends a message to other people that this is the in group, this is the way to be, and it definitely does not. It's why it's a joke to me to think about the Democratic Party being atheist. They're just not. Again, most of our officials identify as Christians. You literally can't get elected to high government offices in America if you don't identify as a Christian. We have very few, even Muslim or Jewish people in the highest levels of government, and we certainly have next to no people that identify as atheists. So it's ridiculous, and I think we need an atheist movement. It's kind of interesting. Like, again, I think people are just, for some reason, compartmentalizing their disbelief in God. For me, if you see how much all of the bad intentions, all the bad juju, all the structural shittification of America and the world beyond it is driven by religious ideology, then you should see a genuine atheist movement that seeks to end the destructive influence of religion as an important cause itself in our times. And I don't know what it's going to take to get people to see that message. Like, we just live in a time where we need to stop fucking around with faith. It's a losing endeavor. It's cost way too many people their lives. It's been on the wrong side of history every single time. So we need to stop. Atheism is important. Deconstructing religion fucking matters.
Accusations are false. But then, shortly before the election, audio leaks of this guy backstage on TV and unaware his mic was on, not just admitting to, but bragging about kissing and groping women without their consent. So the first question is, how's he gonna spin that? And the answer comes in the form of an internet apology video where he begins with something like, I don't know, I never said I was a perfect person or claimed to be someone that I'm not. At which point, you pause the video like, dude, yes you have. You have done literally both of those things. So you pop on over to Twitter and comment on how this guy's apology opens with two comically untrue statements. And like flies to manure, his supporters show up in your mentions. And they say, that audio is from years ago. What he means is he doesn't speak that way about women anymore. To which you point out, yes he does. He did, like, 2 months ago. And they say, well, his opponent's husband actually does those things. And you reply, those allegations are far less substantiated, and if they're true, the candidate's not responsible for her husband's misconduct, and if they're true, that doesn't make this guy innocent. And they start leaning in on the why do liberals make such a big deal about coarse language, strong women can handle themselves, in real life there are no content warnings, and all you can do is lean back in your seat laughing to yourself. What kind of debate is this even? There's not a single thing your opposition has said that isn't provably false or irrelevant, and they change the subject every 30 seconds. They clear.
Gang, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. We're dealing with some just... By the way, if you missed the introduction, we did the introduction earlier this week. All right, part one. So... this is the absurdity of the moment. This is when you're literally dealing with children who are pretending. They are literally just making shit up, just as you did when you were a child. And you're like, oh, This pen, no. This pen is fucking Hulk Hogan, and this remote is Andre the fucking Giant. And then Andre with the fucking headbutts. Hogan goes down. Here's Hogan. Oh, fucking Hogan gets up. He's hulking up. Dun 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 dun. Hogan with the big leg drop. Oh, the boot, the Hogan. Oh my God, he got him with that. He pins him. He pins him. The 1, the 2, the 3. Hogan is the new fucking champion, and this fucking floss pick is this is the belt. Oh, Hogan, he's raising the belt up. No part of what these people are saying has anything to do with reality. And we are sitting around ignoring that elephant in the fucking room. And this is the problem with the philosophy bros and the fucking debate scene and all that bullshit. Because we're acting like these people are sincere fucking actors. It's literally like, it was the recent Stephanie Helms covered some bullshit that Rationality Rules stepped in, because of course he does, and he wants to make a video series breaking down the whole concept of gender from a philosophical perspective and clear the air using the philosophy. But that's the problem. It's just like this thing on our screen. We're just like he's got up here where it says false, ad hominem, off topic. We could do the same thing. We could say they've got some biological arguments, they've got some philosophical arguments, they've got some psychological arguments, right? But none of them matter, because none of them accord with fucking reality, and none of them are the fucking reason we are having this conversation to begin with. We're having these conversations to begin with because they're fucking bigots. Gang, please notice how I don't sit around talking about how all the bigots have the biology wrong. Like, to be honest, I probably should, just for like the good old sake of content and algorithm, and I guess it'd be interesting or whatever the fuck that. And this shit comes up, I'll be like, yeah, they got the biology, all sorts of fucked up. Gang, somebody starts mentioning about it, I'm like, please stop talking about biology. Please, can we just keep biology out of it? Like, of course, because that's the reasonable response in the moment when it comes up. But gang, the reason I don't talk about bigots in the fucking biology problem is because bigots don't have a fucking biology problem. Bigots have a bigotry problem. The problem with these assholes is that they're fucking assholes. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go.
Clearly have no actual position and are just grasping at straws because they can see they're losing. So you don't really have to pay them any mind. They won't endure.
Appreciate you.
Thing is, they have. Not only does this manner of argument endure, it keeps winning elections. Why? Folks, let me introduce you to one of the most foundational strategies of reactionary rhetoric. Control the conversation. Much of what we discuss in this series will come back to this in one way or another. Now let's be clear, a lot of the alt-right is...
And this is how I see the left getting swept up with the fucking super Ryu leg sweep and all the fucking Street Fighter 6 moves. They let the right wingers fucking set the table of what the conversation is going to be about. Like, they're like, all right, well, look, I don't want people going and making medical interventions on children. Mind you, that's not an issue. That's not a problem. Nobody was talking about that. There's really no problems there. And then the left just jumps on up in that shit, and they're like, you know what? I'm here to save the day. I stand up for these people. I think everybody should be equal. But I kind of don't think it's a good idea that we go into genitally mutilating children and pumping them full of steroids that are going to turn them into X-Men, because, if the kids turn into X-Men and then they decide to do some fucking fighting tournaments, that wouldn't be fair in the fighting tournaments, because, I care. I just want to make sure girls have a safe place to do karate. That's all I want. I just want to make sure girls have a safe place to do karate. Is there anything wrong with that? This is what I'm fucking talking about. Like, the right wing just fucking says, we're going to play football with a hockey puck today, and left picks up the fucking stick and runs runs with it. They're like, "Ooh, look, I got the puck," and then they fucking throw that shit into a fucking lacrosse stick, and then they shoot that shit across the fucking goal line, and they're like, "Yeah, we won. Yeah, great." Like literally, they literally make up the fucking game as they go along.
Is okay with or even in favor of sexual assault against women, but it's not politically viable to say so. So if their guy is a serial harasser and they want people to vote for him, they have to control that conversation. They have to let people think that a vote for this guy is not a vote for sexual assault. How it works is every one of these bad arguments is a subtle attempt to change the subject. Now, changing the subject mid-debate isn't a remarkable phenomenon. We call that moving the goalposts. And if that's all that was going on, I wouldn't waste your time making a whole video about it because that video already exists. Link in the down there part. Controlling the conversation is a bit more sophisticated. To understand it, we have to look at how the goalposts move and where they get moved to. Regarding how the goalposts move, you must understand this. Bad arguments are not a bug, they're a feature. I mean, what are the positions in this debate? On one side, it's this guy admitted to groping women, and on the other, it was all just locker room talk. And trying to convince people that a guy who said he groped people didn't actually grope people is not a favorable argument for his supporters to have. So they just don't have it. If their position is he didn't really do what he said he did, they've learned never to make that argument. They make the next argument. Because if we were to agree that it was all just locker room talk, the next argument would be, and he doesn't talk that way anymore, or and his opponent's husband actually does those things, or and coarse language has no negative effects on women. The trick is to treat you like you've already agreed to their position and make claims that treat it as a given. Cognitive scientists would call this presupposing a frame. If you
Also, gang, like this is really the argument, and it comes up a lot. I'm sure you guys have heard it so many times. So for those who've never been in an athletic locker room, Uncle Bobby, if I got this wrong, hit me up down in the comment section. But here's what locker room talk sounds like. All right, so yeah. All right, yeah. So that small forward tonight, yeah, man, that dude's been dropping fucking 25 like on every team. So here's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna play a 3-2 defense, right? And I'm gonna grab his monkey ass on the wing, all right? And I'm gonna make sure that motherfucker struggles. Oh, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start playing him as soon as the ball comes in bounds. I'm gonna make it just annoying for him to even get up the floor. Now, don't break. That doesn't mean we're still playing a fucking 3-2 defense, but I'm just gonna harass him all the way down the wing. Now, look, I know you're worried about the power forward, number 4, but look, you have my back. Look, the guy you're covering, he's fucking dog shit. He doesn't do anything but set screens. We're not even worried about his monkey ass. So you just be ready for the double team. Also, you're gonna guard the point guard. That point guard doesn't want to shoot. He wants to get the ball to the wing. All right. So we're gonna do that, and then I need the rest of you guys to cut off the passing lanes. All right. Now get your monkey ass in here. Everybody ready on 3. All right, go break. That's what the fuck locker room talk sounds like. Locker room talk sounds like, I don't know, the shit to strategize about the game. Like get your head in the game, bro. You can't. You missed a bunch of free throws. We cannot miss free throws. Do you please notice how we are down by 2, yet we miss 6 free throws? Yeah, if we'd have made those 6 free throws, we'd be winning this game. So when we get out there in the second half, I'm gonna need everybody to make their goddamn free throws. That is what the fuck locker room talk. Locker room does not sound like, oh, everybody does a little R every once in a while. A little R, a little essay, you know, little sexual assault from time to time. You know, that's just, you know. Also, pass the sausage. Like, what the...
You're on whether or not he still speaks that way to women, you've unwittingly agreed that that's what you're talking about. And that's why it benefits the right to insist that language is harmless despite a wealth of contradictory data, because if liberals provide the data, it gets them talking about speech. Bad arguments are bait, because liberals can't resist digging into them. They don't like letting false statements slide, and often they won't even notice if that statement is off topic. So there are few better ways to get Democrats talking about what you want them to talk about than to defend your position badly. Regarding where the goalposts move, let's step back and ask ourselves,
Love that picture.
what is the purpose of debate? The liberal conception of debate is usually along the lines of Joseph Jobert's adage, the aim of argument or of discussion should not be victory, but progress. You're thinking Plato and Glaucon, or maybe...
And gang, part of it is like what I've seen the goalposts move to now. My new favorite thing to hate is we can have discussions, right? It's like the big picture version of this. They've now realized, okay, so like if we defend these positions, we'll just take these dumbass positions, we just defend them like all day, then the atheists can't help get on the stage with us. And for a while, at least the atheists were getting on the stage with these motherfuckers, and they were like stomping these motherfuckers to the ground. And the Christians and the fucking apologists and the fucking right wingers and all the fucking theotards and all the alt-right, well, this is unfair, this is uncivilized, this is not gentlemanly, this is not how we did things back in the English manner, and all of this types of shit. And they're clutching their pearls and all this shit. And so all the people that are supposed to be fucking standing up for fucking civil rights and all of the good shit, they were like, oh no, their feelings are hurt, and they're not gonna want to have fun time with me anymore. They're not gonna invite me to their card games, and I can't have that. So let's just turn down the volume. Let's just make sure they're comfortable. What temperature would you guys like the room at? Currently the room is at 71. That's you don't like that? Okay, let's go down to 65. Are you good at 65? I'll turn it down to 65. Just anything to make sure you're comfortable. How many ice cubes would you like in your water? Like just all that bullshit. And so now, gang, it has gone all the way down to let's show the world that we can have conversations. Because one of the fucking dumbass arguments they've made is that the problem we have is the tribalism and the divisiveness, and debates are too violent and too antagonistic. So now these motherfuckers are like, oh, I hate that. I am so sick of seeing people who literally should be fucking fighting, actually sitting there congratulating themselves for sitting down with each other and having a pleasant conversation. Normally, let's be honest, about probably the humanity and the fucking rights about people that are not affected by these people, right? Like like groups these people don't identify with, right? It's like let's congratulate ourselves for debating somebody else's fucking reality. It's just the worst.
Maybe debate club. Two sides debate until one side wins or until a third conclusion is reached together. Either way, the goal of debate is to arrive at the truth. That's not what debate means on the right.
Nope.
There, debate is a chance to perform strength, integrity, and certainty. There, you don't debate until a victor is declared. You debate as long as you can keep eyeballs on you, forever if possible. There, the truth doesn't win because nobody wins, not in any formal way. You may scoff at that, but let's think about it. This is how political debates are structured in the US, where two candidates come in already knowing everything they're going to say, where it's political suicide to concede any point or find any compromise, and where who won is up to the voters. In such a framework, truth and falsity don't exist. All that matters is how much of the audience agrees with you. And if that's your framework, then what's in your best interest is to steer the conversation swiftly and efficiently to something you and your opponent will never agree on, because that gives you the most opportunities to look firm in front of an adversary. The value of turning a conversation about sexual assault into a conversation about sexist language is that the effect of sexist language is a place where the left and the right are fundamentally at odds. This is something Republicans can argue about till the end of time, because the left's understanding of systemic issues does not jive with the right's views on personal responsibility. Yes, of course, if the president spoke this way in the White House, it might be alienating to any woman who works there, but the right sees this as a personal failing on the part of the woman, not a systemic failing on the part of men. Sure, he shouldn't have said that, but really, she needs to lean in. And all the articles, all the data, all the reports that say that's not how this works in practice, they are useless in the framework of a performative Twitter argument or a 1-hour TV debate. A proper understanding of institutional sexism just takes longer than that. Now, I should stress, because it will be true for most of these videos.
And again, gang, maybe it's the whiskey talking and I'm just being a little bit too honest, but I'm getting to a point where I've realized the other side is dumb, but they're not that dumb. Like, they know there's inequality for women. They know that. They know the system is patriarchal. And it is really frustrating that it feels like we're constantly left playing this fucking game where we're like, oh no, let's debate it, let's have a conversation, let's try to win them over, let's do some relationship building, and that'll really show them our humanity. Like all of this is some bullshit because they know. Like you cannot be raised on the man is the head of the woman and noticing that women don't have leadership positions and then in some cases people bragging about putting women in leadership positions as okay, yeah, I'm with that. Like, by the way, like that's fantastic, but it is obviously recognition that the situation has been different historically, and these people know it. They know it. I don't know like why I'm just willing to say this shit right now, but they're dumb, but they're not that dumb. They're not that dumb.
This isn't a master plan cooked up by some shadowy alt-right cabal. Most of the people who argue in this fashion, not all, but most, are simply doing what works without necessarily knowing why it works. It's picked up through observation or by trial and error. And it's not exclusive to the right. Everybody does this sometimes. It's just that the right has made it core to their entire platform. Anyway, why would anyone use this framework? Well, if your opposition has facts on their side, then you need a framework where facts aren't important. But more broadly, if the goal is to win over the public, then the public does respond to honesty, but they also respond to moral certainty. And the right tends to sell certainty better than the left sells truth. This is what they're good at. This suits their worldview. They speak of a universe where opposing sides never agree because agreement is impossible. And since agreement is impossible, you never have to compromise. And since politics isn't about compromise, it's just about outnumbering your competition by any means necessary and obstructing them at every turn when they outnumber you. There is comfort in the idea that people are just fundamentally different and that they owe each other nothing. And if victory is defined by holding your own, then the Democrats' desire for compromise is a weakness that can be exploited. On a gut level, the right knows what debate means on the left, knows that the left wants to meet in the middle. So all they have to do is bait the left into having a discussion on their terms, and then keep insisting that they should find common ground. Yep. You could work with us if you'd only try a little harder. Because the rules of that debate, where you concede points and look for compromise, in their world, make the left look weak. And as long as the right controls the terms of debate, conciliatory loses. That's how they control the conversation. Move the entire debate to their framework using a bad argument as the worm on a hook.
And this is exactly what is happening right now with the left taking the bait on the culture war issues, particularly the trans issues. They have taken the bait. They have found that place where the left will go, oh, I'll concede to you. Oh, I'll give you this. Well, you might have a point about that. And then the left will go, look at me. I'm being so reasonable. Look at me. I'm meeting the other side. Look at us. We're compromising. We're coming to an agreement. We found something we can hold hands on. And we're like, no, this is just another day at the office where are the alt-right people talking? Yeah, they're being bigoted. Go, tell them to go fuck themselves. They're not interested in compromise. I'm not interested in compromise. That's just the realities of it, gang. We need to stop trying to talk ourselves and dance ourselves and charitable listen ourselves in fucking circles. We are at war with bigots. Why are we at war with bigots? Because bigots are at war with us. It's all about power. They are going to do what they can to make us suffer because they can. Everything they can take from us, they're going to take because they can. We need to recognize this shit. Are you the type of monster who wants Ukraine and Russia to be at war with each other? Are you the type of person that thinks somehow the world is a better place because that shit is going on? Are you a person who wants there to be constant unrest in the Middle East? Do you think that's a fucking great thing? No, I don't either. But the point is, ideas don't determine reality. The fact is, if you're anything like me, the conflict in the Middle East has been going on your entire life. It's not a thing you want to or fantasize about or think is a good idea, but nevertheless, it's the case. And so when you hear some news about some shit going on in that war, you're like, yeah, the people are at war. With Ukraine and Russia, we all woke up one day and they were like, yeah, guess what? Russia attacked Ukraine today. Yeah, shit hit the fan. And then we saw the footage and the fucking war-torn buildings. And a year later, they're like, yeah, it's been a year, and Russia is still at war with Ukraine. Yeah, they're still trying to dominate that shit. It's all types of fucked up. Yeah, we still have to send them some fucking support, right? And that's what is going on in American politics. There's a war. These people will say every single day that they are at war with us. And we will turn around and say, oh, no, we just have a misunderstanding. If we could just talk this out, let's sit down and have conversations. And I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. I'm just so tired of the division. The division is really tearing us apart. We need to. Gang. Eventually, you just have to wake up and accept the headline reads, these motherfuckers are at war with us. Time to send in some fucking military support. It's not the reality that we wanted, but it's the reality that we fucking have.
Now, understanding this, you may find yourself tempted to engage in that debate because, knowing the rules, you think you can dig in your heels, put on a better show, win over more of the audience. But the one piece of advice I have for you is, never take the bait.
Hey, Liz.
Don't let them turn you away from the real subject. This guy assaulted women, and that has nothing to do with speech. Theirs is not a game that can be won by progressives. Even if you ruined them for some ignorant comment on the First Amendment, you'd only be legitimizing their rules, and those rules do not lead to a functional society. They are based on the idea that differing types of people can't work together. So one just has to beat out all the others. You can't expect to run on those principles and not get flooded with Nazis, homophobes, and handsy rapists. So get it out of your head that you can win in a debate with the far right, that you can beat them at their own game. If you find yourself playing their game, you've already lost.
Yeah, I'm with it. I am with it. Gang, the channel is... actually, I put the Thinking Atheist channel, but that one is Innuendo Studios. I will drop the link real fast in case you guys want to check out their other content. We're going to go through the alt-right playbook videos, but there's plenty of other content there. All right, gang, appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's Saturday. I want to have some fun, so we are gonna go hang out and gather. I've got to work on dinner and want to play some games and have some fun. So come link up with the gang. The link is down in the description. Otherwise, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. It really, really helps us tremendously. That's the number one thing that will help us grow new subs. And love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow for the blackout at 1 p.m. Eastern and hot program at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, gang.